Hey everybody, I'm Michaela Schick, and this is my Module 7 presentation. I apologize, but screencast-o-matic and I don't get along, so I'll do my best here. Alright, so first I'm just going to kind of start out by explaining the video that we watched and talking about a human resource frame of leadership. So according to Bowman and Deal, this kind of is a frame that just explains how an organization works and specifically focuses on the people who are part of an organization. The key focus here is the different roles of the various members of an organization, and it rests on a couple key assumptions, so that people are the most important resource in an organization and that the organization can't function without the people. Even at one point in the video, they talk about how an organization is to serve the people rather than the other way around. And then also resting on the assumption that different people have different skills, ideas, needs, etc. that they need to contribute to the organization in order to reach prime success. Finally, the goal of this human resource frame is just kind of to align the organizational and human needs. So making sure that your organization is working in a way that best utilizes all of the people who are there and also serves all of those people's needs. So this is kind of the hierarchy that I have created for how a school would work if I were the principal. So at the top we have the principal. The principal is the leader of the school, and while I am a democratic leader, I do still understand that the principal needs to be making the final decisions for a building. Like Dr. Splitchell, I also chose to make students my next stop in my hierarchy. So students are the priority of my school. Even though the principal is the leader, everything is done in benefit of the students. The principal really is at the top of this hierarchy because they're the leader, but in terms of needs, I feel like principals actually fall quite a bit lower in a hierarchy. So the students' needs are most important. And then I kind of try to split it off into two different groups. So I try to split it off into groups that impact the student at school and then groups that impact the student outside of the school. While parents and community and alumni definitely can be part of the school community, their primary impacts on students are going to be outside of the community. So when parents come into the school, that's kind of a different way for them to impact students, but their primary impact is outside of school. So under the parents side, or the outside of school side, we have parents being the top priority amongst those groups. So making sure that students and their families are taken care of is a huge responsibility of a school. So whether that's needing to educate parents in some way to help their students, needing to provide resources to parents, like I think of like food banks or ways for parents, for low-income families to get the resources that they need, whatever that may be, parents being the top priority in this area. And then having alumni and community as kind of secondary outside of school priorities. So the community is extremely important, and schools are definitely part of communities, and communities can be part of schools, but I don't think that they're quite as important as a parent in terms of the schools, what the school should be focusing on. And then alumni, again, alumni are great to have around your school. They can be mentors for your students. Sometimes for a private school, you might have alumni donors, but again, they're not as much of a priority in a school, in my opinion, as parents are. Then on the other side of my hierarchy, I have the things that impact students while they're in the building. So the primary impact on a student while they're in the building is going to be a classroom teacher, in my opinion. So classroom teachers fall highest on this priority, not because they're more important than a para or a custodian, but just because they have a more direct impact on student learning. The next one is paraprofessionals. I really debated where I should put paraprofessionals on this hierarchy. I didn't know if they should be up on the same level as teachers, should they be down on the same level as our other kind of like supporting roles in the school. I ended up deciding that they needed to be on their own level, and the reason that I made that decision is because paraprofessionals do have a direct impact on students. It may not be quite to the direct impact as a teacher, quite to that level, but they still do have a direct impact. They may not impact every single student, but the students that they work with, they're very important too. So I put them kind of on their own level. And then finally, I had my custodians, food service staff, office staff, and maintenance staff. Without these people, a school absolutely cannot function. They are quintessential to a school and the needs of the school. However, their impacts are more indirect on students. So students, obviously seeing a friendly face in the office or a friendly face in their lunchroom is important. Obviously them getting lunch is important, but these are more indirect impacts on their learning rather than direct. So obviously we need our students to be eating, we need our schools to be clean, but these are kind of beyond educational impacts in my opinion. So that is kind of why I put them at a lower priority place in the hierarchy. This was a really big challenge for me in general because I am a very democratic leader. So for me, the goal is here to have students and then everybody else on the same level. And then kind of the principal at the bottom of the priority, but at the top of a leadership. So it was really hard for me to say this person is more important than another person in the school building because I do really value the contributions that everybody brings to a school and how they all impact students. But this is what I ended up deciding was the best representation of priority in a school. Thank you.